Hey, and it's another Lightroom Newbie episode where we are going to edit this very beautiful picture of a nice snowy river somewhere in planet Earth. I'm not too sure where this was taken because I got it off of, again, Edit My Raw, the subreddit, from user underscore underscore rambler underscore underscore. Thank you, Rambler, for your beautiful picture that we will be editing today. And we are going to attempt to get this raw file to look something like this. Now, you might say the sunrise is a little overdone, but you know what? Screw you. That's how I like it. All right, so first things first. Let's start out with the basic panel, where we are going to use the temperature slider to cool things off a bit. Not too much, just a tad. We want to add a little bit more blue into the snow because, you know, it's sunset and, you know, you'll see where we're going with this in a second. And for the exposure, I want to keep these silhouettes of the trees. I don't really want to bring them out because, I mean, I could. I mean, you can see there's green in there, and we could definitely manipulate the photo to bring out the green. But we're not going that route. So actually, I'm going to lower the exposure just not too much. I want to bring out basically the sky a little bit and some of the detail in the river. So we are doing that. Keeping contrast the same, we will adjust contrast in the tone curve down here because we're fancy. Highlights, I'm actually going to pull those down just a bit to bring a little bit more out in the clouds. Same thing with whites. And shadows, let's pull those up just a bit. You can actually see as I move it down and upwards. I don't want there to be a total loss of detail in the trees here, but there we go. Parfait, as they say in France. And for the blacks, let's see. I'm not actually sure what I did initially. I think I pulled the blacks up just a little bit, not too much, just to kind of bring out a little detail in the river and not so much in the trees, but just to kind of give a little bit more, little something there. Anyways, and I'm going to boost the clarity just a tad, and we're going to come back in the river and actually kind of touch that up in a sec. Actually, let's pull up just a little bit. We just want a little bit more clarity like in the snow. I don't want too much going on everywhere else. Same thing with the vibrance, because you know, why not? Okay, cool. Done with basic. Let's look at our progress. Look at that. It's already picture perfect. But we're still going to go onwards. Alright, so, where are we? Tone curve. So I stopped using the contrast slider in instead we are using the tone curve because, you know, I think that's what you know, professional photographers do, and you know, we're just gonna go with that. So let's lower the highlights a little bit and raise some of the blacks, and you know what, there's a very simple slight contrasty curve in the tone curve. Very good. Onwards to saturation. Let's just boost. Not the reds. Blues. What? Actually, I'm not too sure what I don't know if I boosted anything in the final product. Did I boost reds? Let's just boost reds a tad and bring down the blues a little bit because we don't want the blues overbearing in this picture. Okay, split toning. I didn't do anything with highlights because we will be using camera calibration for that. So let's go to shadows and add a little bit of yellow tint because it looks kind of cool in the water. So, you know, this is all experimentation. Just kind of do something new that looks nice. And in my opinion, this looks kind of cool. So we're going to go with this kind of goldish tone because it kind of brings out this weird like not contrast, but I don't know, this kind of weird dichotomy between like this orangey and not so orangey part of the river. Onwards to detail. This was actually really well shot. I almost noticed zero noise. I mean, of course, I have an untrained eye, so take that with a grain of salt. So I am actually boosting the sharpening a bit and not even using noise reduction at all because I don't really see need for it. I mean, it's pretty sharp. I'm not printing this image, so we are keeping it. Detail is done. Lens correction. It looks like this was already had a profile correction enabled, so wonderful. Actually, if you take that off, it looks almost like a fisheye. It's crazy. It's like a super wide angle lens. Not even a wide angle. I don't know what this is. It looks like a. I guess it's a wide angle. I don't know. It looks very strange though. It's kind of like, yeah, it's very fisheye like. So we'll leave that enabled. Remove chromatic aberration because that never hurts. Cool. Transformation, nope, nothing. We will come back to this and add the fancy vignetting. Camera calibration. This is where the teal-like snow comes in. So let's go down to the blue primary colors because basically we want to adjust the blue colors of the snow because we want to give it kind of a teal look. So the way you do this is you take this little slider here and you pull it to the left. It's kind of looking cool, giving it this weird funky vibe. You know, actually I kind of like it there. Let's put this down around saturation. Don't want to, no, not too much. You know what? Looks pretty solid to me. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is go to the brush tool and we are going to kind of bring out some detail in this river. So what I'm going to do is basically double click on effect just to make sure everything is reset, that you don't already have like a preset variable in here. And what we're going to do is press the button O and make sure in this case auto mask is on, so we're just selecting the river and not any other rocks in this area, and just go ahead and go ham on this. Start painting. And when you press O, it puts this overlay onto the image, so you know exactly where your changes are going to happen. Zoom in a little bit. Oops. Right here. Just make sure we're getting everything. And to make the video short and concise, I'm not going to be super detailed about this, but just detailed enough to get the point across. Luckily, AutoMask saves us some time by selecting the correct parts of the image. I'm just mainly trying to avoid these rocks in the middle because it'll look a little weird if we make those changes to the rocks. Okay, good enough. All right, press O again, and let's start adjusting some of these variables. Let's go with clarity up a little bit, just to give a little more detail in the waves and kind of the ripples of the river here. And we're also, I can't words today. We are also going to add a little color to the river. And what did I do in the original? I think I added a little bit of kind of bluish purple because it kind of brings out this weird, you can kind of see this weird split in the middle right here. Let's go with that. It looks kind of cool. All right, done. Perfect. Now, for my last trick, we're going to add a graduated filter to the sky. And what I'm going to do to the sky is kind of the opposite of what I did to the river. And I'm going to soften it a little bit and add a little bit of color into the top right section over here. So to start off, let's put the range mask on and put it on color. Basically, this is going to prevent the graduated filter from interfering with the trees here too much, at least. I believe that's how it works. You know, I'm still learning this stuff, so just kind of go with it. All right, so what was I doing? Okay, yeah, I'm lowering the clarity a little bit on the sky. Lower the clarity. Soften it up. Nice. Nice, very soft sky. And ooh, I did something else here. Did I raise the contrast? Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of play with some options here to make sure. It kind of looks okay. Like I don't want it to be too like vibrant, like unnaturally vibrant, but you know, it's kind of getting that way. Not super bad, but I don't know. You know, I think I might actually back off on some of these reds in the sky. It's kind of starting to look a little too vibrant for my taste. Actually, let's go back to the graduated filter, and we can actually do that there. So let's take the saturation bar and just kind of pull it down just a little bit. Man, it's kind of getting this weird like brown spot right here. You see that? Okay, well, you know what? We'll just go with that. You know, it's not the end of the world. Anyways, okay, and so we're gonna add a little color to this corner in the top right, and the way I did that is select radial filter and make a nice little circle about the size of that little corner up here. So what we're gonna do is make a radial filter, take that, rotate it, and adjust a little bit more, and what you want to do is press O, and that way you can see the area affected by the radial filter. I really cannot pronounce things today. And you can see everything around the radial filter by default is going to be affected. We don't want that. We want it to only affect the selection within the radial filter. So we want to select this button down here that says invert. Once we do that, bam. We are only affecting what is inside of this circle right here. So press O again, and I want to add a little purple to this side because, you know, it looks cool. And there you go. Well, actually, let's back off from the purple. Not too much purple, just a tad, like a hint of purple. There you go. Perfect. And there we have it. A beautiful little river running through a snowy forest with a purple and red sky. Thanks so much for watching, and tune in next time to Lightroom Newbie.